Chosen one. This is not noise. This is not motivation. This is not another financial pep talk floating through the air of the internet. This is a shift. And if you feel the weight of it in your chest, that tightening behind your ribs, that subtle heat along your spine, it's because something inside you already knows. Your financial authority is activating, not outside of you, not someday, not when conditions improve. Now, stay with me until the very end of this message. And when you do, write your warmest wishes in the comments and write 99 because your words carry energy and what you release now will return to you. And if you feel this message is for you, stay connected to this space so you don't miss what comes next. This is not about money alone. It never was. Financial authority is not cash in your hand. It is governance in your nervous system. It is clarity in your frontal lobe. It is steadiness in your breathing when others panic. It is the moment your heart stops reacting and starts directing. Most people are controlled by money because they never learned how to control themselves. Their emotions move faster than their discipline. Their impulses outrun their strategy. But you have been in preparation, even when you felt behind, even when you felt unseen, especially then. The scripture says in Luke 16:10, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much." Most people read that as a moral lesson, but there is a deeper layer. Trust is neurological alignment. When your thoughts, breath, and actions move in coherence, you become trustworthy to yourself. And when you are trustworthy to yourself, greater weight can be placed in your hands. Financial authority begins in the spine. Yes, the spine. When fear enters, your shoulders collapse, your breath shortens, your decisions shrink. But when authority activates, your spine straightens, oxygen deepens, blood flow stabilizes. The brain's signal shifts from survival to strategy. Authority is a physiological state before it is a financial position. There was a time when you reacted emotionally to numbers. Bills triggered anxiety, opportunities triggered doubt, success in others triggered comparison, but something has changed. You no longer flinch the same way. You observe, you calculate, you respond. That is activation. In Genesis 1:26, it says, "Let them have dominion." Dominion was never about domination over people. It was governance over environment. An environment includes economy. It includes systems. It includes resources. You were not meant to float through financial life unconsciously. You were meant to steward it. This is why you have felt restless. You are not restless for luxury. You are restless for alignment. There is a difference. Luxury without authority becomes addiction. Authority without luxury becomes peace. And peace is the foundation of multiplication. Here is your first sacred practice, the breath of governance. Tonight, sit upright, spine aligned, feet grounded. Place one hand on your chest, one on your lower abdomen. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 6 seconds. As you exhale, say internally, "I govern my resources." Repeat this 9 times. This resets your nervous system from reaction to regulation. And regulated leaders make stable financial decisions. You have been tested with pressure because pressure reveals structural weakness. But you did not break. You recalibrated. And here is what most people won't understand. Financial authority does not feel like excitement. It feels like calm. When authority activates, chaos around you may increase, but your internal frequency slows down. Your heartbeat becomes steady. Your thoughts sharpen. Proverbs 21:5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance." Diligence is not hustle. Diligence is sustained nervous system stability applied to long-term strategy. You are stepping into that state. There were seasons when money felt like something you chased. Now it begins to feel like something you manage. That shift from chasing to managing is the pivot. And not everyone will notice it immediately. Some may still see you as who you were, but internally, a transfer is occurring. Authority is invisible before it becomes visible. Your brain is rewiring. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, new neural pathways strengthen. Every time you delay gratification, your prefrontal cortex gains dominance over your emotional circuitry. This is not mystical fantasy. This is design, but it is sacred design. Psalm 112 speaks of the righteous being steadfast of heart. A steadfast heart regulates emotion, and a regulated heart stabilizes financial flow, because money amplifies the state of the one holding it. If you were chaotic, money would amplify chaos. If you were fearful, money would amplify fear. But if you are stable, money amplifies stability. That is why activation had to happen inside first. Look at the last 12 months of your life. The way you think has changed. The way you evaluate risk has matured. The way you handle disappointment has deepened. That was preparation. You were not being delayed. You were being structured. There is a moment in every builder's life where internal permission shifts. You no longer subconsciously sabotage growth. You no longer feel guilty about expansion. You no longer shrink to make others comfortable. That moment is here. And here is the mirror truth. The more authority you accept internally, the more responsibility you must carry externally. Authority without responsibility collapses. Responsibility without authority exhausts. But when the two meet, legacy begins. Your financial authority is activating not for ego, but for stewardship. You are moving from participant to architect, and this is only the beginning of the transmission. When you feel the calm rising instead of panic, when you feel clarity replacing confusion, when you feel discipline strengthening your spine, pay attention, because this shift does not reverse, and what is unfolding next will require even greater steadiness. Chosen one. The moment authority begins to activate, your environment starts to test you differently, not with chaos alone, but with options. Because chaos reveals weakness, but options reveal discipline. And discipline is the true measure of financial authority. You may have noticed something subtle. Opportunities are appearing. Conversations feel different. Ideas are surfacing that feel larger than your previous comfort zone. This is not random. When your internal governance stabilizes, your perception sharpens. You begin to see doors that were always there, but invisible to an unstable nervous system. Most people miss opportunities not because they lack intelligence, but because their internal frequency is erratic. Their heart rate accelerates under pressure. Their breath shortens when risk appears. Their mind catastrophizes instead of calculates. But you are learning to breathe before reacting. This is the second sacred process, the stillness audit. Before making any financial decision, large or small, pause for 60 seconds. Close your eyes. Scan your body from head to toe. Notice your jaw. Notice your shoulders. Notice your breath. If tension dominates, delay the decision. If calm remains steady, proceed. Authority moves from clarity, not adrenaline. Ecclesiastes 11:2 says, "Invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land." On the surface, this speaks of diversification. But deeper still, it speaks of strategic expansion grounded in wisdom, not impulsive ambition. Authority is not about risk avoidance. It is about risk governance. You are shifting from emotional reaction to structured expansion, and that shift changes your posture in unseen realms of influence. Notice how your spine feels when you think about wealth now. It no longer triggers shame. It no longer triggers desperation. There is a steadiness forming, a quiet acceptance that growth is permitted. That internal permission is powerful. Many people sabotage financial growth because they subconsciously associate authority with guilt. They fear being seen, they fear outgrowing their circle, they fear judgment. But when authority activates properly, those fears lose their volume. This does not mean isolation. It means maturity. You are not called to separate from people. You are called to stabilize among them. There is a difference. Matthew 25 speaks of the parable of the talents. The servant who buried his talent acted from fear. The servants who multiplied theirs acted from trust. But multiplication was not reckless. It was aligned. It was thoughtful. It was responsive to opportunity. Fear buries. Authority builds. You are moving from preservation mode to multiplication mode. But here is what most do not realize. Multiplication begins with subtraction. You may feel drawn to simplify, to remove unnecessary expenses, to clear mental clutter, to eliminate distractions that once felt harmless. This is not restriction, it is optimization. When a system becomes more efficient, it can handle more flow. Your mind is becoming more efficient. Your habits are becoming more deliberate. Your time is becoming more protected. And protection of time is one of the first signs of activated authority, because money follows focus. Proverbs 4:23 says, "Guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." The heart in ancient language represents the center of decision-making, not emotion alone. Guarding your heart means regulating your inputs, what you watch, what you listen to, who you allow influence from. If your internal authority is strengthening, your tolerance for noise will decrease. This is not arrogance. It is refinement. You may notice that conversations about scarcity feel draining now. Gossip about financial collapse feels heavy. Emotional spending feels unaligned. Your nervous system rejects what it once tolerated. That is evidence of activation. Authority restructures appetite. Instead of chasing immediate pleasure, you begin prioritizing long-term positioning. Instead of reacting to market emotion, you study patterns. Instead of envying others' growth, you analyze strategy. This is neurological maturity aligned with spiritual stewardship. And here is the deeper layer. Financial authority is tied to identity stability. If you do not know who you are, you will spend to compensate. If you are secure in identity, you will build to expand. Identity precedes economy. You were not meant to be ruled by numbers. You were meant to assign meaning to them. That is governance. This next practice will strengthen that identity. The ledger of alignment. For the next 30 days, record every expense, but do not only write the number. Write the emotional state you were in when you made the decision. Calm, bored, anxious, inspired, patterns will reveal themselves. Authority increases when awareness increases. You will begin to see where emotion influenced spending, where impulse bypassed discipline, where alignment was strong. This is not about shame, it is about calibration. Romans 12:2 says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Renewal is not dramatic. It is consistent micro-adjustment, small daily refinements that compound into structural change. You are in that renewal phase, and here is the mirror truth. The more stable you become, the more responsibility will be entrusted to you. Responsibility may come in the form of larger financial decisions. It may come in the form of leadership roles. It may come in the form of influence over resources that affect others. Authority is not personal elevation alone. It is communal impact. But first, the internal architecture must be reinforced. Notice your breathing right now. Is it steady? Is it deep? Is your posture upright? This is not random. Financial authority activates through embodied discipline. When your body is regulated, your decisions align. When your decisions align, your outcomes stabilize. And when outcomes stabilize, confidence deepens. Not as ego, but as quiet competence. You are stepping into competence. The world may still appear unstable. Markets fluctuate, news cycles intensify, opinions collide, but inside, something steadier is forming. This is the shift. It does not need validation. It does not need applause. It does not need comparison. It needs consistency. And consistency builds legacy. The next stage will require even greater internal strength, because as authority grows, so does visibility. And visibility tests character. Prepare your mind, strengthen your breath, align your habits, because what is forming now is not temporary, it is structural, and the activation is only deepening. Chosen one, if you have made it here, you can feel it. The tone has shifted. The air around your life feels different, not louder but heavier, not chaotic but charged. Because financial authority is no longer a concept for you. It is becoming embodiment. Authority is not announced, it is recognized. You are no longer waiting to be chosen. You are stepping into responsibility as if it has already been entrusted to you. And that internal shift changes everything. The activation you've been feeling is not about sudden wealth. It is about structural elevation. Your nervous system is stabilizing under pressure. Your thoughts are becoming measured instead of reactive. Your breath remains steady in conversations that once would have intimidated you. That is authority. James 1:5 says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault." Wisdom is not mystical abstraction. Wisdom is correct timing, correct proportion, correct pacing. You are developing timing. There were seasons when you moved too fast out of excitement. There were seasons when you moved too slow out of fear. But now there is rhythm, and rhythm creates sustainability. Financial authority is rhythm. It is knowing when to invest and when to hold, when to expand and when to consolidate, when to speak and when to observe. You are learning restraint, and restraint is power. Most people confuse authority with dominance. But dominance is loud, authority is calm. Dominance forces, authority attracts. You no longer feel the need to prove your ambition. You feel the responsibility to steward it. And here is the deeper revelation. Authority activates in layers. First, you govern your thoughts. Then, you govern your emotions. Then, you govern your habits. Then, you govern your resources. And eventually, you influence environments. But it always begins inside. Ephesians 4:23 speaks of being made new in the attitude of your minds. Attitude is posture. Posture is structure. Structure determines capacity. Your capacity has increased. Look at how you handle stress now compared to before. Look at how you analyze numbers without panic. Look at how you delay gratification with less internal resistance. These are not small changes. These are neurological rewrites. And when the brain rewrites, destiny shifts. Here is the final sacred practice, the authority alignment ritual. Each morning for the next 21 days, stand upright before you look at your phone. Feet grounded, shoulders back, chin level. Take one slow breath in through the nose. Hold it. Then exhale slowly and say internally, "I am a faithful steward. I govern what is entrusted to me." Feel the words settle in your chest. Feel your spine support them. Feel your breath confirm them. This is not affirmation for ego. This is conditioning for responsibility. Because money amplifies who you are. If you are disciplined, it multiplies discipline. If you are calm, it multiplies calm. If you are generous, it multiplies impact. You are not stepping into wealth for display. You are stepping into stewardship for legacy. And here is what most people will misunderstand. As authority grows, your circle may not change immediately, but your influence within it will. People will begin asking for your perspective. They will sense your steadiness. They will feel the gravity of your decisions. That gravity is earned. Psalm 1 describes a tree planted by streams of water, yielding fruit in season. Notice the word season. Fruit does not appear instantly. Roots deepen first. Stability precedes visibility. You have been rooting. The frustrations you endured were root systems expanding underground. The delays were structural reinforcements. The pressures were strength training for your character. Nothing was wasted. Now, as this activation completes its first cycle, understand this clearly. Authority is not a destination. It is a discipline. It must be practiced daily, refined consistently, protected intentionally. There will be moments when doubt tries to return, when comparison whispers, when old impulses attempt to resurface. That does not mean activation failed. It means you are human. Authority is not perfection. It is correction. When you notice misalignment, you recalibrate, you breathe, you pause, you respond. You no longer spiral. You adjust. That is growth. And here is the mirror truth that will stay with you long after this message ends. The more internally governed you become, the less externally controlled you will feel. Freedom increases when discipline increases. This is the paradox. The world may continue its noise. Markets will rise and fall. Trends will shift. Opinions will collide. But your posture, your breath, your internal governance that remains steady. You are not chasing authority anymore. You are carrying it. Let this settle into your bones. Let it stabilize your heart. Let it sharpen your mind. Because what has activated within you will not deactivate. It will deepen. It will mature. It will expand. And as it expands, so will your capacity to build, to steward, to influence, to multiply. Not from ego, not from fear, but from calm, disciplined authority. This is not the end of your elevation. It is the beginning of your governance. And from this point forward, every decision you make will either strengthen that authority or weaken it. Choose alignment, choose steadiness, choose stewardship. Because you are no longer preparing for financial authority. You are walking in it.